Russia and Ukraine. It's basically all the world has been talking about these past 2 months. And despite this intense conflict in Europe, some are already speculating the next potential Ukraine could be Taiwan. While many Western media are speculating that China is watching Russia's every move and contemplating their surprise attack on Taiwan, I think it's important that we approach this topic with some rational thinking. And in today's video, I'm going to present to you 3 reasons why Taiwan will not become the next Ukraine. The first reason is remarkably simple, and that is that China relies heavily on Taiwanese technology to power key industries. China's government has stated it will double its GDP by 2035 as China becomes the world leader in AI and develops the world's first 6G network. To achieve these goals, China needs access to Taiwanese semiconductors, most specifically its chips, which power everything from toasters to electronic vehicles. Currently, Taiwan accounts for 92% of global chip production, and its largest producer, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, has been selling a significant amount of mid-level chips to China. In fact, in 2021, revenue from mainland China for TSMC accounted for nearly $5.62 billion. A potential war between China and Taiwan would devastate the chip industry and wreak havoc on the entire world economy. I honestly don't believe this is a risk that China is willing to take, as growing the economy and improving the prosperity of Chinese citizens has been the top priority for China's government. A 1-year disruption to the Taiwanese chip supply would cost global tech companies roughly $600 billion, according to a study from the Boston Consulting Group. But this is where things get interesting. How has the fear of Taiwan becoming the next Ukraine impacted Taiwan's most famous chip manufacturer? Recently, TSMC, which trades under the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol TSM, posted outstanding results for the first quarter of 2022, with a 36% year-on-year growth in revenue and a 45% year-on-year growth in income. Despite these great numbers, the stock is trading at a near 52-week low for one specific reason: geopolitical risk, as investors worry about a potential invasion from China. Geopolitical risk have been a major risk for investors these past few years, and I want to take a moment to highlight a unique investment vehicle that many savvy investors are using to beat both inflation and reduce geopolitical risk. Today's video is sponsored by Masterworks.io, a unique platform that allows individual investors the opportunity to invest in world-class artwork. Now, art investment isn't new. In fact, it's been a popular investment vehicle for the elites of society for centuries. In fact, the Wall Street Journal recently called the art market the hottest markets on earth, and contemporary art pieces have outpriced the S&P by 164% from 1995 to 2021. In the past, the opportunity to invest in fine art was reserved for the billionaires of the world. Now, through Masterworks, anyone can get set up with just a few clicks. Simply visit their website, create an account for free, and browse their paintings and invest in any of their current offerings. So far, Masterworks has sold 3 paintings to date and returned over 30% net IRR to investors. You can choose over 80 paintings to invest in by big names such as Picasso, Andy Warhol, and Basquiat, exactly like buying a share of Apple or Tesla stock from your smartphone. Go to masterwork.art/Cyrus or check out the link in the description to get started, and thanks to Masterworks for sponsoring today's important video. Now, we've established that China's economy depends on Taiwanese technology, but the second reason Taiwan will not be the next Ukraine is simple. China is China and Russia is Russia, and it's irresponsible to think that China will simply follow Russia and start an invasion. To better understand this, let's examine how the two countries and their respective leaders have acted for these past few decades. To start, Russia's military has been very aggressive over the years, with Russian armed forces completing multiple overseas combat missions in several countries, including Georgia, Syria, Kazakhstan, and of course now Ukraine. On the flip side, China has been involved in minor border disputes with its neighbors like India, but over the years, China has refrained from massive interventions of other countries. Its last invasion took place in Vietnam some 4 decades ago. Interesting enough, in the past few decades, China's largest deployments of overseas troops has been on United Nations peacekeeping missions. Currently, Russia operates over 21 military bases around the world, whereas China has only one official military base on foreign soil in Djibouti, which was actually made to help protect against the piracy of trade ships in the troubled waters off the coast of Africa. However, as an American, I have to speak carefully when I mention overseas military bases, as my home country, the United States, has a presence of over 800 military bases in over 70 countries around the globe. It's no wonder that President Jimmy Carter once called the United States the most warlike nation in the world. The differences between Russia and China's leaders are also quite different. While Putin at certain times has been very aggressive to the West, President Xi has invested a lot of time and resources to showcase that China is willing to work with all countries around the globe. China is interested in pursuing win-win situations, and as Xi stated in a 2018 speech, a community with a shared future for mankind. This is why China has remained committed to reducing its carbon footprint, something even the United States failed to do when former President Donald Trump backed the United States out of the Paris Accords. Thankfully, President Biden returned the United States back to its climate change commitments literally hours after he was inaugurated as the United States president. Climate change is probably the biggest issue facing our world today, and it's imperative that the US and China work together for a better future. Now, China is already the world's largest producer of renewable energy, and Chinese tech giant Huawei recently helped Turkey build the world's largest solar farm, providing energy to over 10 million people every year. Of course, the flagship project that best demonstrates this goal is China's Belt and Road Initiative, which has already completed over $11 trillion of trade between 70 countries since its founding in 2013. In investing, we often say that past performance doesn't guarantee future results, but it is often a great predictor of what's to come, and I think this applies directly to China. I can't see China wasting decades of hard work in building the world's largest trading network, lifting hundreds of millions of people out of poverty, and then throwing it all away by fighting a war over Taiwan and ruining its own domestic economy. And this leads me to my third and final reason that Taiwan will not become the next Ukraine. And that is simply the official status of Taiwan already favors China. One of the biggest issues between Russia and Ukraine is that Putin is not satisfied with Ukraine being a sovereign nation. In Putin's mind, Ukraine is part of Russia, and Ukrainian people are ethnically Russian. Every country around the world recognizes Ukraine as a sovereign nation, including China, who just last year celebrated its 30-year anniversary of diplomatic relations with Ukraine. However, since 1972, the United Nations has officially recognized there is only one China, and that Taiwan is part of China. This is also a policy that is echoed by every major country around the world. When people ask me, Cyrus, is Taiwan part of China? My simple response is that even my own government, the United States, recognizes that Taiwan is part of China and respects the One China policy. In closing, I feel there is no outcome of an invasion that China benefits, and like I pointed out in an earlier YouTube video entitled, "The US is preparing for something bigger than Russia and Ukraine," I mentioned the biggest potential threat to a Chinese invasion of Taiwan is not China, but actually American intervention. I've laid it out very clearly in today's video the three main reasons why Taiwan will not become the next Ukraine. China is dependent on Taiwanese technology to grow their economy. China has a proven track record of being very different from Russia in how it handles its foreign affairs. And finally, Taiwan is already internationally recognized as being part of China. In my opinion, the status quo will continue for the foreseeable future, and the only scenario that could lead to war is if America put naval ships around the Taiwanese island and asked Taiwan to formally declare independence. If this were to happen, this of course would lead to China militarily getting involved because they have to defend their sovereign territory. But unfortunately, this would also be the start of a devastating conflict between two world superpowers that ultimately could be the end of our entire world. This is why smart diplomacy is desperately needed between the United States and China. So the next time you read that China is carefully watching Russia's invasion into Ukraine and seeing if there's an opportunity to mount a surprise attack, don't buy into it. This is fear-mongering, and it's worth repeating. China has nothing to gain from declaring war on Taiwan. Instead, China will focus right now on getting through this difficult wave of Omicron in Shanghai, keeping its citizens safe, and restarting its economy, which once again depends on a healthy relationship with the #1 chip manufacturer in the world, Taiwan. Everyone, thank you for making it to this point of the video, and once again, a huge thank you to Masterworks.io for sponsoring today's video. Please take a few minutes and check out their website. If you're an active investor, you will be impressed with this incredible platform that Masterworks has created, and honestly, this is one of the most unique investing opportunities I've come across in a long time. Thank you all for your amazing support, and I look forward to seeing you all in a future video soon.